not subscribed to our channel, you can do so by clicking the subscribe button as shown above. Hello friends, welcome to Kamath Astrology. In today's video, I am going to talk about the last solar eclipse in the year 2022. Now this last solar eclipse is going to occur on 25th October 2022, and this just follows the day of Diwali, and therefore this is a very dangerous time for the world, especially the 6-day time frame between 25th October 2022 and 31st October 2022, and this could trigger some major disaster in the Russia-Ukraine war as well. Now, I was thinking very hard whether I should make this video or not, because many people will be scared after watching this video. So my intention is not to scare anyone, not to frighten anyone, but I want to present certain astrological facts based on which I see major events happening in this time period which are going to impact the world in a big way. So the chart on the left hand side is the chart on the day of the solar eclipse, that is 25th October 2022. You can see that the solar eclipse occurs in the sign of Libra, which is shown by the red circle, in which you find Moon, Sun, Venus and Ketu. Now Diwali always occurs when Moon and Sun are present together in the sign of Libra or Tula. So in short, this is actually a new moon time. But this time you can see Sun, Moon, Ketu and Venus are present in this sign of Tula or Libra. Diwali is the festival of lights, and immediately after 24th October, on 25th October, this eclipse occurs in the sign of Tula or Libra. Tula or Libra is the natural 7th house in the zodiac belt, and it represents balance and harmony. And so when an auspicious festival such as Diwali is immediately followed by a solar eclipse, it is not really a good time. It indicates major challenges will happen to the governments across the world. Why is this so? Because the sun represents the government. Sun represents people in authority and power. Sun represents the king. So clearly, after 25th October 2022 to 31st October 2022, across the world, the governments are going to face a lot of challenge. But this is not what I really wanted to tell you. I wanted to point towards something more dangerous which I see in this time frame. Now look at the chart on the right hand side. This is the chart of Ukraine, which was formed on 24th August 1991 at 6 p.m. with the capital as Kiev. Now you will see one planet known as PL or Pluto in a red circle, also placed in the sign of Libra. So in the natal chart of Ukraine, in the sign of Libra, you have Pluto. And what does Pluto represent? Pluto represents rising through the ashes. Pluto represents death, destruction and rebirth. Pluto also represents the underworld. Pluto represents the hidden forces. Pluto represents rising from the ashes, and most important, Pluto represents nuclear activity and radiation. And you can see the solar eclipse is occurring exactly over this natal Pluto of Ukraine, which means that during this time, Ukraine will face some major disaster, and it could also be a nuclear disaster, it could be radiation that spreads because of some missile attacks by Russia and vice versa. Now, if I see the regions where the eclipse is going to be visible, it is going to be visible in Europe, it is going to be visible in Moscow, it is also going to be visible in West Asia, northeast part of Africa, Iran, Kabul, Pakistan. Now, this is a partial solar eclipse. It is not completely visible in India, and therefore, many people will say that the Sutak timings are not applicable. But definitely, this eclipse is visible over Europe, it is visible over Moscow, and therefore, this eclipse is bound to impact the Russia Ukraine war. Some major escalation, some major attack will take place in this time, and it could result in a nuclear radiation, a nuclear disaster. And there is a strong possibility of this happening, is what I see. And therefore, if you are living in this region, if people are living in this region, at least for this time period, please move out of that war torn region, because if this really happens, then there will be a major disaster, and you need to save yourself from that, and that is why I am giving this video. Another thing you can see is that in both the charts, Saturn's 10th aspect falls on the sign of Libra. So if you see Ukraine's birth chart, Saturn is in the sign of Capricorn with the moon, and his 10th aspect is falling on natal Pluto. If you see the solar eclipse on 25th October 2022, Saturn is again in Capricorn, and his 10th aspect falls on the sign of Libra, which means Saturn is also going to influence this eclipse, and therefore the chances of such a disaster happening is very high, is what I see. You can see no benefic influence falling on the sign of Libra. Even Jupiter's aspect is not falling on the sign of Libra. And therefore, this period of 25th October 2022 to 31st October 2022 is an extremely dangerous time frame. Especially, I see serious problems in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and some major disaster can happen in this time period. Now, is it a good time for the governments across the world? Definitely not, because the sun is under the influence of Ketu. Sun is under an eclipse, and whenever sun undergoes a trouble, the governments, the king suffers. Now, for India, India's ascendant is nothing but the sign of Taurus, and therefore, for India, this eclipse is occurring in the 6th house of enemies, diseases, debts, litigations, conflicts. Libra is also the natural sign of partnerships, and therefore, in this time, within India also, I see major conflicts happening, major troubles for the government in this time period. So, friends, in this time period, if any of the viewers are staying close to Russia, Ukraine, my suggestion is please move out of those places in this time period. Try to safeguard yourself. Otherwise, there is a strong possibility of a major disaster in this time period. Coming to India, you can see that in transit, Rahu is in the 12th house. That is, Rahu is placed 12th from Taurus in transit. And therefore, it indicates certain foreign countries, certain foreign hands trying to destabilize India in this time period. So, it is a time to be cautious for the governments across the world, and especially knowing that this can result in nuclear disaster as well. People living in Europe need to be very careful in this time period. If you see Ukraine's chart, the sun is also the eighth lord. The eighth lord represents sudden events, represents transformations, represents accidents. And the eighth lord in Ukraine's chart is undergoing an eclipse involving Pluto, which shows major disaster in this time period. Major accident can happen in this time period, especially in the Russia Ukraine war. So, friends, this is just a caution video from my end. I have explained to you the planetary combinations as well and why I feel such a disaster can happen in this time frame. So, people living in this region, please be very careful. Please move out and save your lives. In India also, because Venus is the ascendant lord, he is in the sixth house with Sun, Moon, and Ketu. It shows that the health of people in this time period may undergo some problems. So, we are seeing different viruses spreading across the world in this time period. We already have the coronavirus, then we saw small traces of the monkeypox virus, Langya virus in China. So, this is a time period when, especially in India, people need to be careful with respect to their health because the ascendant lord has moved into the sixth house and is being influenced by Ketu, and the sun is also present here. Sun is the fourth lord of happiness, peace, and comfort in India's chart, and when sun is being influenced by Ketu, definitely some problems related to the health of people in this country will come in this time period. So, for India, people need to be cautious on the health front. Also, this time can increase terrorist attacks. So, that is one area where people need to be careful. But the major point I wanted to drive through this video was the possibility of a nuclear disaster or a major accident as part of the Russia Ukraine war, which can impact the whole world. And this was just a caution video. So friends, if you like this video, please mark it as liked on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to our channel Kamath Astrology, you can do so by clicking the subscribe button. For any consultations, please email us at astrosevaworld@yahoo.com. To know more about us, visit our website astroseva.tripod.com. So friends, thanks a lot. Bye. Take care and stay safe.